All right, let's talk about concept question 4.6 from chapter 6. The question says that in Lungtopia, cigarettes sell for $5 a pack and 5,000 packs are sold every week. In an effort to raise government revenue, the mayor of the city decides to impose a $2 per pack tax on cigarettes. And our task is to figure out the effect of that on the supply curve for cigarettes. So first of all, notice we have over here the supply and demand curves for cigarettes prior to this tax. And now let's think about what the tax does to the supplier of cigarettes. So now that there's a $2 per pack tax on cigarettes, the supplier, the person who's selling or manufacturing the cigarettes, has to charge $2 more per pack in order to make the same amount per pack that they were making before. Because now, for every pack they sell, they have to give the government $2. So, as you can see, where they used to sell a pack for $5, they're now going to want to sell a pack for $7 so that they can give that $2 to the government and still bring in their $5 that they were making before. Does that make sense? So it's in that sort of frame of mind that we're going to look at what happens to the supply curve here. I'm going to click the little magnifying glass to make it bigger so we can work with it more easily. So let's think about from the perspective of our suppliers. They used to charge $5, so 5 on the price axis, and sell 5,000 packs. Now, to sell 5,000 packs, they're going to want to charge $7, right? Because they want to be able to bring in that same $5, but they're going to have to give the government those $2 per pack. So at the same quantity, to want to sell the same quantity, that 5,000, now they're going to want to have a price of 7 instead of 5, so that they can give that that tax to the government and still bring in their $5 for each of these 5,000 packs. And the same is true for every amount or every quantity on the quantity axis. So where they used to sell 4,000 for let's say about $3.50, if we come over to the price axis at the 4,000, now they're going to want to sell 4,000 for 3 plus 2, so for $5.50 dollars. So the supply curve, in other words, is just going to shift upwards or leftwards, depending on how you're thinking about it, by $2. Does that make sense? So for me, the easiest way to make this happen is to start here at the equilibrium. So starting at my 5,000 packs per week, at that quantity, they're now going to want to sell for $7 instead of 5. So I'll put the first dot of our new supply line at 7. Oops, that's not the right. I want to delete that. Okay. Not in the right place, sorry. So you can see the coordinates up here in the right hand corners to help you try to get the right coordinates. So I want to go to 5 on the x-axis and 7 on the y-axis. So I'm going to go up to where we hit that point. Five and 7. And yeah, it's a little tricky to get it exactly in the right spot. But you get the point. So somewhere in the 5 and 7 vicinity, and then I want to do the same thing down a little further. So I'll look at, this looks like a pretty easy point to do because it's at the 1 and 1. So now at the 1,000, I want to be at $3. So 1 and 3 is what I'm going for here. Actually, let me show you a little trick for graphing these more correctly. I'll use the point tool to put in the points of what I'm looking for, and then it's easier to connect those points with the line. So if I want to point at 5 and 7, that's what we already decided, right? So actually with the point tool, it's pretty easy because I can just put a point somewhere in the general area, and I can click up here at edit coordinates, and I can tell it I want that point to be at 5 and 7. So I can delete all of this extra decimal places. There we go. So now I have a point at 5 and 7, and I want to point down here, since this point's at 1, 1, it looks like I'm going to want to point at 1, 3, because again, to sell the same quantity, they're going to want to up the price by 2. So I'll make this point at 1 and 3, which I can do by saying edit coordinates, tell it I want it to be 1 and 3. Submit. Okay, so now I have these points that I can use to draw my line. That's the point of making those points, because I can use the edit coordinates thing and get those points in exactly the right spot. Now I can click these points and draw my line connecting those points. And label it my new supply line. And then the only other trick here is you have to go back and delete those points, because my Econ Lab does not like when you have extra points around. Oops, I deleted my line instead of my points. So let's put my point back in here. Three and 1. Put my line in there again. And then delete the points. Delete. Yes. And be sure I select the point, not the line. And delete. Okay, so now I have my new supply line. Yes, it's a pain to do these drawing things. I do feel your pain with them. So I'm going to label it supply. And then the last thing it wants me to do is find the new equilibrium. So the new equilibrium is wherever the new supply line crosses the demand curve. So I'm going to label it right there. Equilibrium. And then you may need to drag this label around so that it's not overlapping, so the thing doesn't tell you you're wrong. Alright, so there we have it. So the main thing to remember here, other than the fact that drawing these things in the graphing tool is definitely challenging sometimes and takes a while. The main thing to remember here is that we're looking at how supply is going to change with this tax, and it changes in a very specific way, and that is that at every quantity supplied, the price is going to have to be higher by the amount of tax. So you take the old quantity supplied of 5,000, it was at $5, now at 5,000, you're going to be at $7. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have any other questions. Feel free to stop by office hours.